Welcome in, episode 122. What's Right with Nick Wright, the podcast. By the way, last week, or earlier this week, we asked you all to subscribe on YouTube so we could maybe get to 100,000 subscribers by the Super Bowl. I then sent out a tweet about that. People evidently were very mean to Damonza in the comments, man. You told me about it? You're what are you laughing about?
Because because as soon as you said something about the 100,000 subscribers, it made me instantly think of the tweet.
Man, evidently you got roasted. Your mom told me you got roasted.
Mom said something?
Yeah, she was like, did you see the comments on there? They are not being nice to Damonza. So first of all, don't be jerks. Hey, this is Damonza's side gig. However, maybe it's becoming his real gig. We'll show you why in a moment. But here's the real news. We are like a dozen people away from 97,000.
Yep.
We are right there. So we need just over 3,000 subscribers between right now and Super Bowl Sunday.
Got 2 weeks?
And I think we can do it. You get a plaque. You get a cash bonus. Were people mean to you on that because I said you're poor?
Yes.
Is that what happened?
They were coming at me from different angles, man. I've got a tough exterior when it comes to that type of thing, so don't worry, guys.
Okay.
But I'm not asking to be flamed anymore.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, be nice to the guy.
But no, so it was there was one, I saw one comment that stood out. It was like, he was like, you shouldn't be moving to Los Angeles if you're poor. Or if you're broke. And I was just like, And then other guys are coming at me about like my somewhat speech impediment when it comes to the show.
I don't know if it's a speech impediment. You just stumble over your words sometimes. Yeah. And by the way, the people have been moving to Los Angeles without having stable, the most stable financial situation for as long as Los Angeles has existed. The city of hopes and dreams. All right. Let's get into what is not on today's show. Here's what missed the cut. KD out at least 2 more weeks. The new NBA All-Star Game format not on the show. And Damonza doing other podcasts now. Do we have photographic evidence of this? If you're watching on YouTube, you see Damonza on his buddy Daniel Salvador's podcast. You're being called a Fox reporter. Did they ask you, like, how do you want to be
They didn't ask me, is the problem.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know that you have full authorization to be using the Fox brand as a Fox reporter. By the way, I need to listen to that podcast. I need to check that out. And if you can't get enough Damonza, he also has the Twitch stream, Right Upside Down, if you want to follow him there. All right, let's get to the show. Go ahead.
All right, Vegas, you've insulted Nick Wright.
Yeah.
The Chiefs opened as a favorite since he was a road favorite until right before showtime.
Yeah, just flipped. Yep.
And now it's Kansas City by 1. Still disrespectful considering Mahomes' history, honestly. Mm-hmm. Is this the extra fire Kansas City needs to beat their boogeyman, or is this an ominous sign of what's to come?
All right, on the gambling side of things, the difference between -1 and +1 and all of that is minimal, except for when it comes to teasers. As we talked about on Monday's show. If when the Chiefs were getting 2.5 or getting 1.5, you teased them, you got immense value.
Yep.
By the way, Patrick Mahomes, has played 92 career games. Because you could have teased the Chiefs to +7.5, right? How many of those 92 games do you think +7.5 would have been a winning bet? So Mahomes has started 92 games.
Right.
If you were getting the Chiefs plus 7.5, how many of those 92 do you think would you have covered? I mean, I'll give you a little hint here. He's won 68 of the 92, or 69 of the 92. Yeah. So there's at least 69.
Right.
Go ahead.
I'd say about 90.
88.
88?
Yeah. Mahomes 4 times in his career has lost by more than 1 score. So, I say all that to say this. Teasing the Chiefs now, there is not value. Because you're teasing through the zero, as we talked about last week, and you're only getting them up to +5 or +6. So, if you were going to do the Chiefs-Niners teaser, which felt like the best teaser available, it's no longer available. That ship has sailed. I'm not teasing this game because I'm just committed on the Chiefs winning. Now, when it comes to bulletin board material, there's a lot of bulletin board material the Bengals are giving the Chiefs. Calling Arrowhead Burrowhead. Joe Mixon saying we're the big dogs of the conference. A whole lot of stuff and I didn't used to believe in bulletin board material. I was like, that's a media creation. It's the playoffs with a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
See it.
But the players, year after year, time after time, talk about it being meaningful. The Bengals were clearly motivated by the fact that the logistics of Chiefs-Bills being at a neutral site meant they had to start selling tickets early. The Bengals kept referencing that and were motivated by that. Everyone thought that this isn't bulletin board material, but it's of the same kind of family of motivational materials, that the Bills were motivated by having Damar Hamlin in the building, or the previous week after Damar's injury when they started the game with the kick return. I do think the Bengals are playing with fire. I also think that the Bengals, since Burrow has taken over, this era of Bengals football, they have scored one playoff fourth quarter touchdown, and it was by a defensive end, Sam Hubbard, after the Tyler Huntley fumble return. So the defense really has been the story in these playoffs, plus Burrow with some clutch plays early, but not doing all that much late. Go ahead.
So, you said the bulletin board material stuff. So, like, don't you think it's a little different? Because is Burrow co-signing on this type of stuff? I feel like it's different. Like, if Burrow was the one calling it Burrowhead,
So here's the thing. He's the only one being smart and not doing it.
Right.
Burrow is come out and said, the Chiefs are still the team to beat. But I don't know that it matters where it comes from. And Joe Mixon and Eli Apple and all these guys.
Eli Apple's got it coming to him.
And Eli Apple's not good. That's the other thing. Like, the best players aren't doing the trash talking.
Yeah.
And I saw Mahomes jogging around at practice Wednesday, being a full participant. And I think the Chiefs, this is such a brilliant opportunity for the Chiefs right now. Because when you look at the AFC, okay, so the Bills took their shot. And now Josh Allen's cap hit goes up by $25 million. Stephon Diggs' cap hit doubles. Von Miller's cap hit triples. And the Bills are going to have to pare away guys off that roster. The Chargers are in a similar cap situation, and they have to pay Justin Herbert, right? The Raiders traded for Devontae Adams, don't even make the playoffs. Cincinnati is in a wonderful position. However, this summer, they pay Joe Burrow, they pay Jamar Chase, and then they make the decision, can we also pay T. Higgins? Probably can't. You probably can't have two $25+ million a year receivers. So then they have to make the decision, are we going to let because they have one more year on T. Higgins' rookie contract. Are we going to just play it out and then see him walk in free agency and we get nothing? Or are we going to trade him now so we get something back, a la what the Titans did with A.J. Brown, because they didn't want him to walk and they didn't want to re-sign him. Now, that was a mistake, but set that aside. Point is, I think the Bengals are going to be in it for years and years. But this is certainly the cheapest their two best players will ever be, because Burrow and Chase get the extensions. The Chiefs, on the other hand, traded away Tyreek Hill and played rookies more snaps this year than any teams other than Chicago, Houston, and Seattle. They have cheap, young defensive players and a lot of cap flexibility and extra draft picks. If that year, when they were supposed to be taking a slight step back, when so much of the rest of the conference was positioned for right now, and with Mahomes less than 100%, If even under those circumstances, the Chiefs win the conference, that is utterly and thoroughly devastating to everyone else in the conference. It gets harder for Buffalo. It gets harder for Cincinnati. It gets harder for the Chargers. The Ravens don't. It gets harder for them if they're going to pay Lamar or not. This was not the year the Chiefs were supposed to be winning the conference. They're supposed to still be good because they have Mahomes, but the offense takes a step back. You're playing all these rookies, win 10, 11 games, win a playoff game, and then be rebooted for next season. If the reboot year, they still win the conference, it's a bad sign for everybody. And not only do I think they're going to win, I don't think this is going to be who has the ball last classic. I think the Chiefs are going to control this football game. Next.
All right, well, no matter what I try to tell you about the Chiefs, I know you're sticking with them, but there are serious concerns when it comes to your 50-1 Super Bowl ticket on the 49ers side. To win, you need a rookie quarterback to win in a hostile environment. You do realize that no rookie has ever won in the Super Bowl, and you're still not hedging.
No, I'm still not hedging, and it's very simple. I understand that the Niners have a massive question at quarterback, and
It's really crazy you've always been like a stat guy. Like, I feel like this particular stat should stand out pretty heavily.
So here's the deal. Yeah, I do care about the numbers, but this is a tiny sample of the rookie quarterbacks who've even been in a position to get to a Super Bowl. And Sean King, Ben Roethlisberger, gosh, I know who the other ones are. Mark Sanchez and Joe Flacco. And the distinction that I would draw is a number of things. One is none of those teams had dynamic offenses. The Niners do. The Niners have all pros all over the place. All of those teams had great defenses, as the Niners did. That I picked the Niners to win the NFC with either essentially a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, he's not a rookie, but he's essentially a rookie. And the other, like, we have seen guys, we saw Russell Wilson in his rookie year win a playoff game and almost win a second. We saw Mahomes in his first year as a starter get to a conference championship game. We saw Joe Burrow in his second year as a starter, but first fully healthy year, make a Super Bowl. Furthermore, I just don't think the Niners need great quarterback play. And I am not someone that thinks, oh, Brock Purdy was this amazing steal. Brock Purdy's this great player. I think he is a product of Kyle Shanahan's system. Now, am I nearly as confident in the Niners going into the Link as I am the Chiefs at home against the Bengals? Of course not. And while I am team never hedge, let me be very honest here. If the Chiefs were the early game and the Chiefs won, and then it would be 50,000 or 0 on whether or not Brock Purdy melts down at the Link, I might break my no hedge rule. Where if the Chiefs had it locked in and now it's just the Niners, either win or I lose my bet, maybe I would. But I do think Niners-Eagles is a 60-40 game in the Niners side, even though the line would say it's 60-40 on the Eagles side. And it's not as if Jalen Hurts has exponentially more playoff experience than Brock Purdy. In fact, they have the same amount. They have both played 2 playoff games. Jalen Hurts played 1 last year and 1 this year, and Brock Purdy's played 2 this year. Jalen also has not cooked up a dominant, he's been great this year, but he has not cooked up a dominant defense. The Niners have a dominant defense. I give respect to what Jalen's accomplished this year. I know I've been an Eagles skeptic, and thus far they've proven me wrong, but I like the Niners in this spot. By the way, also, speaking of hedging, I texted our group earlier this week, hedging is for, what did I say? Cowards and stock traders. I'm a goddamn gambler. We're making those T-shirts. They probably would already be made, but I have not. They sent me the different designs, and I haven't come to a decision on them. But we should have those by the Super Bowl. All right, next.
All right. Sorry, guys.
They just showed the T-shirt. We can show that T-shirt again. This is not what they're going to look like. I vetoed putting my face on the shirt. I think we'll put the What's Right logo on the shirt, but we're going to find a good way to do it. All right, go ahead.
All right, Bills GM Brandon Beane had a lot of excuses for why the team that he put together lost. He said since he had a better team because their stars are on rookie contracts. He also said, I don't want to suck bad enough to get Jamar Chase. Mm-hmm. You have to feel bad. You have to feel for the Bills and Beane here, right? As a Chiefs fan, you know firsthand how hard it is to beat the Bengals.
Stop that. So here's the problem with what Brandon Beane said, and it's multifold. First of all, it should be noted, and Damonza, I don't think you know this, but the Bills got Stephon Diggs by trading for him from the Vikings. The pick they traded for, they traded a first, a third, and a fourth for Diggs. So 3 picks. The first round pick that they traded became Justin Jefferson. So, if they wanted a cheap rookie contract receiver, they could have had Justin Jefferson. They went out and got Diggs, and by the way, that was actually fine because Diggs has been awesome for them. Help Josh Allen take the leap, so be it. But you made that choice. Additionally, when you say you don't want to suck bad enough to get Jamar Chase, the year after you drafted Josh Allen, you had a top 10 pick just like the Bengals did. Now, the Bengals, the year after they drafted Burrow, had the 5th pick. You had the 9th pick. The difference is the Bengals took a superstar wide receiver in Jamar Chase. You took a D tackle in Ed Oliver, Houston kid, who's been a disappointment. 3 D linemen taken in the 9 picks after Ed Oliver. Jeffrey Simmons, Brian Burns, and Dexter Lawrence, all Pro Bowl players. You took the wrong guy. That's first of all. Second of all, here's where Beane's comments really rung hollow. He's talking about how Burrow's on a rookie contract and Chase on a rookie contract, but Josh and Stephon are expensive, and not true. Burrow and Chase this year made a combined $17 million. Allen and Diggs this year made a combined $27 million. So more expensive, but $10 million. That's one good player, okay? Next year, however, Burrow and Chase make a combined $18 million, and Allen and Diggs, Damonza, make a combined $60 million because Allen's contract extension kicks in and Diggs' cap hit doubles. So if Brandon Beane was having trouble building out this roster when Allen was making 16 and Diggs was making 11, it's going to have a lot of trouble when Allen's making 40 and Diggs is making 20. All right, next.
Sounds very salty.
Yeah.
All right, LeBron dropped 46 the other night in a loss, but it got people talking. Mm-hmm. Anthony Davis came back Wednesday, and they beat the tanking Spurs. Mm-hmm. Plus, they finally traded for a superstar. Let me check my notes. What's his name?
Rui Hachimura.
Rui Hachimura. Oh, yeah, I saw some clips of this guy.
Yeah.
With Anthony Davis coming back, the Lakers could go on a run. If they turn it around, are you going to start saying LeBron should win the MVP?
No, listen, LeBron's been unbelievable. Since he turned 38, he's averaging 35 points per game. We've never seen anything like it. And I don't even really want to talk about the Lakers' lack of moves other than Rui Hachimura. And I don't want to talk about the MVP thing. Here's what I want to say about the LeBron thing, okay? He's 150 points away from passing Kareem. And it seems like the media collectively has decided we're not treating this like a big deal. Kareem has held the scoring title, Damonza, since before LeBron or I were born. Do you know in the last, let me do the math here, 55 years, who has held the NBA scoring title? I'll give you the full list. Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's the list. For 55 plus years, 2 people have held this. For the last 40 years, every single day, the NBA's all-time scoring leader has been Kareem. It was thought of as a truly unbreakable record up to and including 5, 6, 7 years ago. There were articles written that it can't be broken, that it's an impossibility. And LeBron, it's not only that it is now a fait accompli, 100% chance he's breaking it. He's also, by the way, it's so annoying. The Lakers play in their next 3 games. 2 of them I'm going to. They play the Nets Monday and the Knicks Tuesday. And LeBron's probably going to break it the game or two after that. I'm going to miss seeing him do it by a game or two.
Tough.
I mean, he would need to average 50 a night over the next 3. So he's really going to be just a few,
just shy of it,
which is also to shame for him too in this regard. MSG on national TV, he's going to go into the game, I think, probably needing like 70. So he's not going to be able to do it. So he'll break it at home, but it won't be on national TV. But here's my frustration there. This is one of the many things that folks said would never happen. And now that it is happening, folks are going to act as if this is not the only NBA record that has ever mattered. Like, there are team accomplishments and championships and rings and all of that stuff. But all-time scoring title, like the all-time assist title is held by Stockton. Nobody cares. The all-time steals title, by the way, also held by Stockton. Nobody cares. Like, 100 points in a game, Kareem's scoring record, these are the things that have resonated. And the fact that LeBron, what I was trying to say, I interrupted myself, is not only going to break it, but he's going to break it while dominating.
Right.
Well, he's not breaking it while being a 15-minute-a-game guy.
And then he might truly make the record unbreakable.
100%. So LeBron he's the youngest guy to every 1,000-point mark in league history. He just became the youngest guy to 38,000, but only 2 people have gotten there, him and Kareem. He's going to put up 44,000 points. And for context there, and by the way, this is ultimately does become, when we talk GOAT stuff, the longer the timeline goes, the more people are going to think that Michael Jordan being the greatest ever is ludicrous, because history's going to look at it and say, okay, so why is Jordan the best? People will be like, well, he has 6 championships. It's like, oh, that's the most? It's like, no, Kareem also has 6. Oh, it's tied for the most? No, there's this guy named Bill Russell. He has 11. Oh, okay. The guy is 11? How long did he play? Okay, so it's not the chips thing. He was just clear, far and away the best player. He has the most MVPs. No, that's actually also Kareem. He has 5 MVPs, and we'll see or 6 MVPs, pardon me. So he must have been the greatest scorer ever. Well, kind of. He averages the most points, but by the way, I don't know if that's going to stay because scoring's going up so much. Oh, where is he on the all-time points list? He's 5th. Oh, is it close? Well, no. He scored 32,000 points. Oh, who has the most? LeBron, how many did he score? 44,000 points. The gap, so right now, this moment, just for context here, the gap in career points, which is what Jordan was best at, between Jordan and LeBron is 6,000. The gap between Jordan and LeBron is bigger than the gap between Jordan and Dominique Wilkins. Bigger than the gap between Jordan and Paul Pierce. Okay? So, I'm just telling you guys, it is, and what it's going to turn into is You just had to be there. You just had to trust us that Jordan was. And it's like, oh, I get it. He had to go through, but winning those rings, he had to go through, like, that was when the league was at its best. It's like, well, no. His big rival in the East were the Knicks. How many great players did they have? One. And then there was the Pacers. They were kind of a rival briefly. How many great players did they have? Half. Reggie Miller. Okay, that's in the East. But in the finals, he had to go through super teams, right? Like LeBron did all these things. It's like, well, no, not really. He beat the Lakers for first championship. Oh, they had Kareem. No, Kareem had been gone. And Magic was kind of on his, on the downslope a bit. Magic was so great, but worthy. Okay, what about the next one? The Blazers. They had one great player. What about the Suns? They had one Hall of Fame player. What are the next? The Sonics, they had 1.5 great players. And so, I'm just telling you guys.
So, moral of the story. Doesn't have a shot at winning MVP this year, but he is the greatest basketball player to ever play the game. Never missed the opportunity to tell us that LeBron is the best.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I guess I'll just take the charge to do it because he's about to break the most important record in the history of the sport, and nobody gives a damn. Nobody seems to care. And he's doing it while averaging 30 points per game. While when you look at everyone else on this list, what they were averaging when they scored their final points, it's 13, it's 15, it's 12. Go ahead.
It would be really weird for him to break this record had him not averaging 30 points per game. Like, if he happened to break this record while scoring like 10, 15 points a game, it'd be like a really weird thing.
But that's kind of how these records almost are always broken.
Right.
So, like,
it's like Kareem, at the tail end, and so many points that you've got to be in there for a long time.
Exactly. So, even Kareem, when Kareem broke Wilt's record, I'm going to check real quick. Kareem beat Wilt's record by 7,000 points. So, Kareem, the year he broke Wilt's record, he was still awesome, but he was not league MVP Kareem anymore. He was averaging 21 a game. Yeah, and then he played another 5 years. When Jordan scored his final points, he's averaging 20 a game playing for the Wizards. Another top 6 all-time scorer. You look at what Kobe's last year, he averaged like 17. Dirk's last year, he averaged, I think, 11. LeBron's going to be averaging 30 when he crosses 40,000 points. Nobody else in league history averaged 25 when they crossed 30,000 points.
Puts it in perspective.
It's a little context there. All right, next.
So we got a little poll.
Oh, okay.
Not a little poll. But yeah, we do have a little poll. Could LeBron have a shot at MVP? 38% say yes, 62%.
He's not going to win MVP. The team's not going to be good enough. This is going to be Luka, Jokic, with Tatum having an outside shot,
right,
and with Giannis having an outside shot. Those are your MVP candidates. All right, we're going to do a fast B block because I got to get to TV. We'll come right back. Be back. What's Right live on YouTube. All right, welcome back in episode 122, What's Right with Nick Wright. Got TV today at 3 o'clock. Should be a great show. We also got a little bit of breaking news involving the Jets coaching staff that we're going to get to later in this segment. But Damonza, let's get right to it, my friend.
Yes, a lot of speculation surrounding Sean Payton this offseason. Seems like he's down to 2 options between Denver or staying retired.
Yeah.
Denver just traded everything for Russell Wilson, obviously. Now they're trading another high pick for a coach.
Yep.
If you're the Broncos, do you think this is the right move to make to catch up to Kansas City?
Okay, so listen, the Broncos do have another first-round pick to trade because they got a first-round pick when they traded Bradley Chubb.
Right.
It came from the Dolphins, but it's actually the Niners pick. So we'll have the Niners first-round pick this year. I think hiring Sean Payton objectively would be a great move by them. I do not think that team is good enough for it to make a significant difference. And I do not think that he's going to be able to fix Russell Wilson in a way that's going to make them a contender. I don't think that roster's great. I think everyone overvalued their receivers. I like Javonte Williams, but he got hurt, and running backs, after they get hurt, you're always worried about them. So there's that. It is a brutal division, and I think Sean Payton's best option, honestly, is staying retired and waiting to see if the Chargers or the Cowboys job comes open, or see if the Cowboys job comes open this year. And I know it looks like they're not firing McCarthy, and I get it. He's won 12 games in back-to-back seasons. I understand all of that. But if the Cowboys are being honest with themselves, they are not going to break through with the McCarthy-Dak combo, and they're not doing anything with Dak. So see if you could reinvent Dak under Sean Payton. That's what I would recommend. I don't think they're going to do that. If I were Sean Payton, you're going to have just as much leverage next season. You got a great job with Fox, make good money, good life, all that stuff. I wouldn't rush to go to Denver. Now, if they're going to pay him, though, 5 years, $125 million to be a head coach, maybe he does it, but I don't think that makes them catch up. Obviously, it's a massive improvement over Nathaniel Hackett, but I don't think it would be enough, especially because that Russ contract is a disaster, and all those picks they traded is hard to build out a roster. All right, what's our game?
All right, today's game, we're playing this or that. No time for the tennis corner today, but we will be live after the men's final today, final Monday, to talk about it. Until then, let's get a prediction from you. The Australian Open winner will be Novak Djokovic or the field.
First of all, great pronunciation of Djokovic. It means you've been paying attention to the tennis corner. I would take Novak, but I will admit this is the one major on the tennis calendar that I don't pay that much attention to. Because it's during the NFL playoffs and because it's happening in the middle of the night, because it's over in Australia, I am not locked into this the way I will be the French Open, Wimbledon, and, of course, the U.S. Open. So I would take Novak Djokovic, admitting that I haven't been watching much of the Australian Open. Next.
All right. The coach of the...
Phone fell.
The coach of the year finalists were announced early this week. Many of the names we expected made the final cut, with two notable exceptions. The bigger coach of the year snub was Dan Campbell or Andy Reid.
It's Andy Reid.
Of course.
Listen, coach of the year, I think Belichick's only won it once or twice. A coach of the year has become, what it means is like,
who got the
overachieved.
Links
yes, exactly. And I think coach of the year this year actually is Kyle Shanahan. So on his third quarterback, they got the 2 seed. Yeah, I think he deserves it. So I'm good with Kyle Shanahan, but everyone pretending like they expected the Chiefs to be dominant this year, they're lying. That is not what Vegas thought. That is not what the audience thought. And then Andy Reid, it's like, oh, okay, no big deal. They had the highest scoring offense and the most efficient offense, despite losing the guy that some people think is the league's best offensive weapon. And the Chiefs' number 1 receiver, McCall Hardman, has been out for 2 months. And their number 1 running back's been out for 2 months, and they haven't missed a beat. But I understand Mahomes gets the credit. But Andy should have at least been nominated. But I think Kyle Shanahan's coach of the year.
By the way, the finalists were McDermott, Sirianni, Shanahan, and Dable and Peterson.
Doug Peterson. I don't understand how Sean McDermott gets nominated and Andy Reid doesn't. I just don't. And maybe it's because they think he handled the DeMar Hamlin situation beautifully. So, like, maybe that's it. But if that's it, that's fine. But I don't understand otherwise. All right, next.
All right, during the Bills game, Stephon Diggs was visibly upset at Josh Allen. And after the game, he reportedly attempted to leave the stadium before the coaches even made it to the tunnel.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs is a competitor or a crybaby.
I'm going to actually go with both. Listen, this is an emotionally immature team. And Josh Allen actually plays kind of an immature style, just going for kill shot after kill shot, deep ball after deep ball. We saw their offensive coordinator. Remember the temper tantrum he threw in the booth, throwing the papers and everything? That was a couple months ago. So if that's okay from Ken Dorsey, a grown man in khakis, you know what I mean, up in the booth, then Stephon Diggs can get upset on the sideline. What's not good from Diggs is he seemed to be blaming Allen directly. Right. And I don't think that's great for their team. But I think he's a competitor, and I think he's whining a bit. Next.
Yeah, all right, Bill O'Brien is returning to the Patriots. I didn't know that the Patriots hired competent assistants. Next season, Bill O'Brien will turn Mac around or burn Mac down?
I think Mac will be a little bit better, so I guess I'll say turn Mac around. But here's the problem. Belichick refuses to hire anyone other than his kids and people he taught football to. Everyone on his staff is either related to him or someone who previously was on his staff. He needs to bring in new blood, someone that will challenge him and try to bring some cutting-edge ideas. There's a Boston Herald article that came out this morning. I haven't read the whole thing about how dysfunctional that entire team was this year. And Belichick seems destined to just keep making the same mistake again and again. Next.
All right, Aaron Rodgers is reportedly open to reworking his deal. Reworking his deal either for the Packers or another team if he's traded. Mm-hmm. Wait. The $50 million quarterback held back his team. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers is sincere or trade bait?
It's trade bait. I think Rodgers is getting traded. I think the Packers want to trade him. I think Rodgers is fine with being traded. I wouldn't give up a first-round pick for Aaron Rodgers, but maybe somebody will. I think it'll be a mistake, but that actually brings us to our next question. Go ahead.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, breaking news. His buddy Nat Hackett was just named Jets offensive coordinator.
Unbelievable.
Nat Hackett, great hire or the best hire?
I mean, if this is the Broncos evidently hired Nat Hackett hoping to get Rodgers. Now the Jets are doing the same thing. What a great setup for this guy. For Nat Hackett?
Yeah.
Who, like, if you remember, Collinsworth told us during one of the broadcasts, the reason Rodgers liked him so much was because he made him laugh and they played darts together or whatever. Not like because of his brilliant offensive system. But this does, to me, set up for the Jets trading for Aaron Rodgers. I think that's pretty clear. That's why they're bringing in Nat Hackett. And, listen, I think Rodgers is clearly on the downslope. I think we saw the cliff come and get him this year, and he's wildly expensive. But the Jets, they think they're right there with competent quarterback play, so you'll see if they get it from Rodgers. I don't believe in it, but we'll see what happens. All right, last one. Oh, this is for me. Damonza, officially an invited guest on other shows now. Damonza stands are real. I'm feeling like a proud father or a monster maker. Look, Damonza, look at the screen. Look at that's Damonza just taking over me on First Things First. That's Damonza with Joe Rogan. This is why you should watch on YouTube. That's Damonza with Joe Rogan watching First Things First in the background, and you're wearing the same outfit for both of them. No, I'm proud. I love it. I love that. Damonza, do you want to mention Daniel's podcast?
No.
No?
No, Daniel, sorry if you see this. Oh. But we gotta go over it and stuff. I don't wanna I did it.
I got you.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. That's fine. No, I love that answer. That I am prouder now than before. Damonza's like, no, I don't want to mention that. Not sure what's going out there. Not sure. We're just not doing it. Okay, and by the way, Daniel's not going to see this. Daniel doesn't watch my podcast. So it's no problem. But no, I'm even prouder now. That's great. Follow him on Twitch, right upside down. Oh, ask your questions now in the comments. We'll take a quick break, come back, answer the listener questions next before we wrap up episode 122. What's right? On episode 122, we're now answering your listener questions live on YouTube. Damonza, go right ahead.
First off, we got Jonathan Apreza, said, Nick, do you think the trade between Westbrook and Levine will become true? Apparently, Chicago is interested in this trade if Lakers add 2 first-rounders.
I don't think Rob Pelinka is making any significant moves at the deadline. I think that, his quotes this week that were like, I would only make a move if I thought it put us in championship contention, which is him saying the team I built can't win.
Right.
Which would make sense if going into the year, if you're Pelinka, it's like, what's the best case scenario for how LeBron's going to play? Well, he's exceeded that. All right, what's the best case scenario for how Anthony Davis is going to play? He's exceeded that. Now, he got hurt, but he's back now. All right, what about how the West is going to shake out? Is anyone going to be run? It's dominant teams. Nope, wide open. Right now, there are 2 games separating the 5 seed from the 12 seed. So everything fell exactly the way you had hoped. And yet you still don't think you're a championship contender. Why? Because the roster's not good enough? You built the goddamn thing. It's so
It's
frustrating.
really
Go ahead.
unfortunate that LeBron is in this situation, even though he doesn't seem to like really
Oh, he's
care about
mad.
it.
No, I think he
This
cares.
Palinka guy just sounds like a coward,
It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable.
messing with this guy's legacy.
100%. And the Lakers, and Pelinka got the job. He was Kobe's agent.
Right.
And then they hired him to be the GM. They were an unmitigated disaster until LeBron saved them because he wanted to live in LA, then got Anthony Davis to go there. And now it's like they're punishing LeBron because he pushed them to trade for
It's
Westbrook.
almost like he's sabotaging LeBron so he doesn't surpass Kobe too much.
So what you just said there sounds ridiculous, except for the fact that that is like on like the deep web of like the biggest LeBron stands there are. They truly believe that. That the Lakers are actually not wanting to win because they don't want LeBron. That I don't believe that. I just believe they're bad at their job. All right, next.
Guys. All right, Ryan Fitzgerald.
He wants me to do something.
Oh yeah, have Nick rant his best to worst case scenario on the Super Bowl winning teams. Is Bengals winning at all worst case, or Philly that he's doubted?
My best case scenario is obviously the Chiefs. My
Worst case.
My second best case scenario would be the Niners because it would prove me so correct that Jimmy G was just a product of the system and that anybody could come in and do what he did or do it better. My next best case scenario would be the Bengals because I give them credit. Like if the Bengals beat the Chiefs for a fourth straight time and then win the Super Bowl, salute. We got a real they have a real claim. They're the team to beat, and the Chiefs got to go chase them. Salute, good for them. They will have earned it. And then the worst one would be the Eagles because I've doubted them all year. Those fans already hated me, and those are some
Worst.
And I go to Philly a lot to play cards.
That
would be the worst.
Yeah.
There would be no question. That would be the worst. All right, next.
Connor McQueenie says, Damonza, if you get it that $1,000 bonus, how much of it will you bet on an insane Super Bowl parlay? 25%.
What?
I'm kidding.
That's not a good idea.
I'm joking.
10% works. $100 on a Super Bowl parlay.
Yeah, man.
The gambling hasn't been going great for Damonza lately.
Yeah, like I really don't like that there's only like 2 games.
I know
now.
I knew that's what you were about to say.
Yeah.
Because you can't put in an exotic 7-team parlay.
Yeah, no, I was just telling Matt earlier, I want to just do teasers all the time now. Like
teasers are dangerous because they always look like Danny
they look
and
like
I.
free money.
Yes. Danny and I have a long-standing joke of we text each other a couple teasers a week and then just text in all caps, how does it lose?
Yeah.
Like it feels like they can't lose.
No, and ever since I switched up the Bills plus 2.5 to Cincy back to plus 13 or 13 or whatever, I just feel like a wizard with it. Like I feel like with everything that you've given me about, teasing across a zero and all that other stuff, I feel like when I make those teasers, I really analyze that and the losing the first 500 to the Dak Prescott freaking pick to the Jags. But
I still
can't
can't believe you did that. You woke up at 2 a.m. and made a 10x bet. The old 10 or I guess you were betting like $20 to $30 a game. So I guess that's like a 20-unit bet you made.
I mean, initially I was doing like 50, 75, but I was doing it like just on the line.
Right, you were.
I hadn't discovered the parlay part of it.
Right, and then you were betting smaller amounts on super long shots.
Yeah.
And then how many legs was that teaser? 4, 5?
4. It was all 4 of the games last. Oh, you're talking about the one that
the Dak Prescott one.
Yeah, it might have been 5.
Yeah, it was a lot of legs. That's the thing. Just so you know, it's not free money once you need 5 separate outcomes.
4's my sweet spot.
4's tough, but doable. I would stick to 2 or 3 team teasers, but it's fine. All right, one last question.
Dusty said, can Damonza start streaming on Twitch for longer than 40 minutes? All right, Dusty.
What? Why are you annoyed with him?
No, I'm not annoyed. That just didn't happen. So I did. It was 2 separate streams that I did. There was one where I think I was just playing Madden, and then I had switched over to Fortnite. I think the stream had totaled out to like 1 hour and 45 minutes. It's not my fault you came late.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll take
but
that, Dusty. We are really super serving one audience member right now as Damonza is explaining to Dusty what happened on that thing. I think that means it's probably a good time to end the show. You can follow Damonza on Twitch at Right Upside Down. You can follow Dusty on Twitch. I think at Call Me D Block. He's one of our producers. First things first. Also a loyal listener to the What's Right show. Subscribe here on YouTube. Let's get to 100,000. We got a couple weeks left to do it. See you guys. See you tomorrow for our gambling show. What's Right?